Hello. I wanted to, one more. I wanted to come on live today. Um, my name is Carolyn Rasmussen. Y'all are on my business page, and I wanted to share with you my top 15-ish gadgets. It got real hard to narrow it down, so I just started grabbing a few of them. But I wanted to spend a few minutes sharing these with you because I get asked a lot, what are your favorite products? And, I have the products and the gadgets and everything else, and it gets real exciting really fast with all the cool stuff we have. So let's get started. Some of these are old ones and just been around forever, and some of them are more recent releases. So let's see. I'm going to start off with our adjustable grater. And we have various versions of it, but this is the coarse grater. We love a lot of cheese in our house, but we prefer not to purchase the pre-grated cheese because pre-grated cheese has a lot of extra additives and it just doesn't melt and taste as good. When you have a great cheese grater, it makes it so easy to grate your own. So this one lies flat in your drawer, just like this. It also has a food holder so you don't grate your knuckles. Then you just pull down a lever and open it up, and you can do it like a tower, or you can do it like this right over the bowl. It has the cover on it, so you slide the cover off, but it protects you when it's in the drawer. So again, you don't grate your hands when you're reaching into your drawer. And this grater food holder slides right on there, and then you just put the food in there. So this makes cheese grating very easy, very simple, very fast, and you get to eat the fresh grated cheese and not the cheese that comes out of the bag. So let's see, what else do we have here? We have our citrus press, okay? And the citrus press makes, it works for lemons and limes or really small oranges. And when you put them in here, you put the cut side down, and then you squish it and the seeds will stay in here, but it'll pretty much turn it inside out. And that's really great because that means it's getting all the juices out of it. You'll get way more out of your limes and lemons. Of course, little tip, your limes and lemons will juice better when they're room temperature or at least a little warmed up versus ice cold out of the refrigerator. And also if you'll roll them around the counter a little bit and loosen everything up in there, it will work better. But this is fantastic. I love it. If you're a margarita fan, got to have one of these for your margaritas. Let's see. The ever popular salad choppers, and these are, they're for salad. You can use them to shred your vegetables and your lettuce, but I love them for my cooked meat. With cooked chicken breast, cooked pork, you can slice and you can shred. So you can see here that it's a double blade. And I can hold with my tongs my chicken breast and just cut slices of it. You can also turn it over and do it in the bowl and just kind of shred it like that. So these do have a lifetime warranty. They're fantastic. And they have a little lock on the back, so you just kind of close it up and then lock safely. So they're in your drawer and you can't get cut with these. These have been around forever. In fact, if you'll look, this one I've had a really long time, and you know that because it's got the hen on it, and the hen has not been a mascot or a logo for Pampered Chef in about 20 years. So this one has lasted me a very long time. You do the solid ingredients. A lot of people say that they have a hard time with it because they don't push the middle. It looks like there's a little button there. If you push on that, it actually will release the pressure a little bit, and you're able to push it. See, just like that. Then it'll start coming through. So you do the solids on the red side. See, it says solids this way, so you make sure you put this back in after you wash it the right side up. Then, so you can do as much or as little as you want just by adjusting this part. And then things like mayonnaise, honey, ketchup, barbecue sauce, Crisco, brown sugar. I love to use this for brown sugar too. Anything like that. And then you just push it out. Okay. This one's being really tight today, but you get the idea, and then you just kind of scrape it off with your scraper. Another tip would be if you wanted to stuff your turkey or your chicken, you can fill this up with the stuffing and then put this in the cavity. Then when you flip it over, you have a liquid side. And so the blue side is the liquid side. We have this in the 2-cup side, the mini one right here. And this is a 1 cup, same thing. And then this is our petite one, does smaller up to a 1/4 cup, and it even measures in milliliters and teaspoons and tablespoons, so, and ounces. So this is very handy also. Okay. Then we have our avocado tool. This is fairly new, and I love this for more than just avocados actually. And I just washed it because I had an avocado at lunch. But the avocado tool, if you can see, has a serrated side and then a regular smooth side right here. And the reason for that is if you want to cut the avocado, you cut it with this side, and be careful, it's very sharp. So I recommend doing it on a cutting board. And then you can use the smooth side here to cut the avocado meat inside of the peel and then kind of scoop it out or do it whole, depending on how you want to present it. This is for the pit. So after you cut it in half, you just smack this on the pit. You're not going to worry about cutting yourself. A little bit of a turn and out comes the pit. The other thing I really love this for is mangoes. We prefer the yellow ones, but you again take the serrated side, and if you'll cut like this and you can feel the pit and just kind of cut along the pit on both sides. Just really, you'll feel it. You'll start at the top and you'll be able to go along the pit. And there's sometimes a little bit on the side, so you'll do that and that. Then you'll have the flesh inside the peel. And if you use the smooth side and just kind of hold it in your hand like this, and you will be able to follow along. And it's not as likely to cut the peel of it because this doesn't have any sharp edges on it. So I love this for mangoes too. The avocado tool. Instant read thermometer. Ours is so fun. So it has a magnet on it, so you can put on your fridge. If your oven is the kind where you can put a magnet on it, mine will actually stick onto my microwave above the oven. But you can, it's instant read. Okay, so this isn't something that's going to necessarily keep it on the whole time it's cooking, but you turn it on. Push the right button, it'll turn on, and it has the probe right here, and you'll stick that in and then read it off on here, and then it tells you, kind of has a guide here also on what temperatures for what meats. But here's the cool part: it has a opening, a little plug here for you to put this probe in it, and you can put the probe in right like this. Okay, so then if you are cooking in the oven, this will go into the oven. So when you want to check the temperature, you just come over here and turn it on and check the temperature rather than having to open your oven and stick something in. So I love the fact that it could do both. Like I said, it's not going to alert you when it reaches a temperature or anything like that. It's an instant read, but it's perfect because when you're ready to check it, you just push the button and check it. And it's very handy. Nothing worse than overcooked pork or chicken, but you don't want to eat it raw. So here you go. Then we have the popcorn maker. This is for the microwave, and I love this. This is the regular one. We also have a family-sized one, and I put a cup, I fill this lid. This comes out. This is like a cup in the lid, and you just fill this cup. It's all silicone, so it's all very flexible. Fill this cup with just regular kernels from the store. Pour them in here. Pop this back in the top. I do not use any oil or butter, but you may use butter or oil. If you use butter, I would put a little butter inside here and then a little butter on top, and it'll melt on in there. And you put the lid on. The key with this is you must have a turntable, and do not put it in the center of the turntable. Put it kind of on the outside edge so it will go all the way around in the microwave. You don't want it to just spin in the microwave because it won't get all the kernels. But I have a lot of luck with this. It will cook nearly all the kernels. It gets very hot, so I just kind of fling this off, and then I will put some salt on it. So super easy, and I'm not getting all the extra butter and salt and chemicals out of the bag, but I can still cook it about 2 minutes, 20 seconds in my microwave. Let's see, scoop loop. One very unassuming little tool, scoop loop. It is plastic, it is flexible. Okay, but it's serrated. I don't know if you can see, use my shirt maybe. This is serrated, the edges. are on both sides here, and then here and here are serrated. So what do I use this for? Bell peppers, cantaloupe, squash, anything that I'm trying to scrape seeds out of. It works fantastic. It'll also help with a pumpkin at Halloween if you're going to carve a pumpkin. This side is for smaller things like tomatoes, but I also like to use it to get to whole like strawberries. So if I want to get the strawberries out, the little green part of the strawberries out, this works really, really well. And then you can also do it on the tops of the tomatoes, everything else, just like a little scoop like that, and you've got it out. So very handy, very small, easy to put in your drawer. Love it. These have been around forever. Toaster tongs, very inexpensive. Keep them by your toaster, but toaster oven or regular toaster, keep your fingers safe when you're trying to get your toast, bagels, or anything else out of the toaster oven, because these will reach in for you. So super easy, fun toaster tongs. Okay. Now these are 2 for 1 here. I'm going to show you together because they are cousins. How many of you have the mix and chop? Okay, mine's pink because it was from years ago when we had a pink promotion, but most of them are black. And this is for hamburger meat, ground turkey, ground sausage, anything ground you're trying to chop in your pan. So I'll take my pan and you put your hamburger or whatever meat in here, and then you will just, after it starts to brown, it usually works better if you do it after it starts to brown a little bit, and then you will just, chop it up. So much better than, I've heard so much lately about people using a potato masher, and this is a little bit more beveled, so it's kind of sharp, works much better. Definitely better than a spatula because more little places than just one little spatula. Fantastic. But we have come out with a cousin, and it is called the Mix and Chop spatula. So yes, it's kind of spoon shaped, and I love it because same thing, right? In your pan, you're going to chop it, but it's silicone. Okay, that is silicone. And that means it also is, well, it's got the beveled edge. It's also a little bit flexible. So I can also scrape around the pan with it, okay? Then I can also scoop with it. And then you see it's got holes. I can drain with it. So on taco night, I can make the tacos, scoop out the taco meat, drain it a little bit before I put it into my taco shell. Love this one. I've really fallen in love with it. Now we have something else that I'm going to partner with that. This is our, gosh, I can't remember the name of it, but it's our utensil holder, I think, silicone utensil holder. It will, after it's off the stove, you really don't want to use it on the stove top. It gets way too hot, and it also melt your utensils. But when you have that buffet, that potluck, or when you're passing a lot of dishes around and you want to keep your utensil with it, but you don't want it to drip all over the place, you pop this on the side of your pan, your casserole dish, whatever, and your utensil will slide right in. So as the dish is being passed, or as the dish is sitting out for everyone to get their meal, they can just take their utensil, scoop it off, put it on their plate, and then put the utensil back, and it won't drip all over your counter, your table, your tablecloth, all that stuff. So that is great. That's our utensil holder. But again, you'll want to use this after it's off the heat surface. Okay, now, who doesn't love our adjustable measuring spoons? These have been around a really long time, and they are, they've been upgraded a little bit since the very, 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 very first ones. But if you've had in the last 12 or so years, they're the same. This snaps off so you can clean it real easily. It's like that, but it's actually silicone there too, which means it will also hold liquids in here. So it comes in a set of 2, a tablespoon and a teaspoon. But what I love about it is they adjust, right? So I change how much I want to do. Well, there are 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon. So that means if I want to do 2 teaspoons of something, instead of having to measure twice with my teaspoon, I can turn this to 2 teaspoons and measure 1 time, or 1.5 teaspoons like that. There's 1 there. And then I can do 2.5 teaspoons as well. So I've got everything from 1 teaspoon to 3 teaspoons, which would be a tablespoon, in half teaspoon increments. Then this is the teaspoon, and it goes everywhere from 1/8 to 1 teaspoon. And it does 1/8, it does 1/4, half, 3/4, and 1. So then I only have 2 of these, not a whole set, trying to keep up with my drawer. That's super cool. Okay, we're moving on to some bigger ones. I am going to show you one. This is the pineapple wedger. And a lot of people ask, does that really work? Yes, it absolutely does work. I'm buying pineapples all the time. In fact, I have one right here. Let me give you a little tip. So you buy the pineapple, okay? And I usually will leave it on the counter for a couple days, let it finish ripening. I'll turn it every so often because the sugars will kind of settle. Then I will cut the top and I will cut the bottom. And then if I'm just chopping it up to eat regular, for us, I try to keep some in the fridge all the time to eat. I will chop it again just like this. So I actually have the 2 halves because it makes it easier for me to slice with that because it's not as far to go and I can get more leverage because it's not quite as tall. If you're wanting larger spears, then you can certainly not skip the middle thing. It just is a little bit more work to get this down. So you would put this on the pineapple and push down, and once it's flush to the countertop, you would then grab the base, and you notice it's got dimples and stuff in it. So you would then pop this on there and that would push it up through the bottom so then you can pull the pieces out. Now, when you do your pineapple, you'll notice the rinds will be on the outside and then you will have the core here to pull out. You will have 2 half moons, right? Or 2 semicircles. Well, funny thing, our apple wedger just happens to be the same size as the middle of that, or just slightly bigger, which is perfect, right? So you can see it'll do the half right here, right? It'll slice it in half. So you will then take your pineapple and line it up. I'm just showing you on here, but you'll do it on the pineapple. And you will then go like this with the core out, of course. So you'll have the 2 just half circles and you will slice in, then you will have spears of pineapple using the apple wedger. If you don't have the apple wedger, you need that anyway, because it makes you a very lazy apple eater. You don't have to eat it whole anymore. This is our rapid prep mandolin. This is the first mandolin I've ever absolutely loved. And I like, this is how it stores. Okay, so it stores all in one little set. And then I just will pull it off of here. The chute comes off. Then I will pull the kickstand out. Now you'll notice there's dials on here. That's because the blade selections are done with dials. There's no extra blades to keep up with. One of them does like French fry slices. One of them does just regular slices, and one of them does matchstick or julienne slices. So that would be the top one. And then the bottom is how thick you want the slice. And there's little icons on here that show you where to put it if you're doing French fries so that they're perfectly square, or where to do the julienne if you want them perfectly square but a little small. So you can see all that on there. Let's see if I put this down if you can see better. So see, the little icons are on here. That's for the julienne down here, the little skinny matchsticks. And then right over here would be where you would set it. Oops, I'm going backwards. This is where you would set it up here, up near the 8 for the French fries. Okay, and you would also turn this dial. That's a slice, that's a French fry, that's a julienne. You can tell really big. So if you want to do a French fry, you would turn it so that this is on the French fry here. And then you would turn this up here near the 8 for the big one there. And then you pull the kickstand out and you take the chute, place it underneath here. So now you have a chute to catch all of the vegetables or fruits or whatever you're slicing. Then you will open up the slide door here in the front. You can hear it. It's got suction cups so it doesn't slide around. So the slide door opens up. The chute will go on here. And you will just pull. It's hard to do with one hand, but there's a little button there to hold up so that it pops in there and it's secure. And then this is the chute, so you can put things in there. So then you will twist and this comes up. Now the blade, you put your food down here and you push it with this, and the blade will go up and down over your food and will all land in the chute. So I love this. It is amazing to be able to do French fries, to be able to do slices, to do everything all with one tool. And I'm down to my last 2. So I will start with this one. This is our batter mix and dispenser. Doesn't sound right. But my son wanted to make waffles last week. So we had waffles for dinner. And this made it so easy. What you do is you will open this up. I will have it put together. So you will put the liquids in first. It does have measurements on here, so you can measure by cups. If what you're measuring is by cup, that you can also measure with a measuring and spoons and stuff to get the right amounts in here. So you put the liquids in first, then the dry ingredients like flour, and you will push this up like this, and this pops on and twists on, and you will pump to mix the batter. Okay. Once the batter is completely mixed, you will then again open this up, and you will put on the silicone cover so that you're going to cover up the blades and make this a solid plunger, just like that. Okay. Then you will take this and you will put it in where the batter is, and you'll kind of do it at an angle. So you'll let the air, most of the air escape. Okay. And you can adjust it with the stick as far wherever your batter is. And then you'll just pop this on just like that. And then you take the cap off the bottom and look, see, it's got the hole. Now you have settings for a little bit, medium and large, and then you just pull the trigger and it will go down just like that. Cool. So that makes muffins and pancake batter and waffle batter easier because you can just dispense it. Okay. Trick to getting it open. You might want to put your finger inside this hole a little bit so you release some of the pressure. Open this up, and then you can pull the plunger. It's easier to do when I don't have a bunch of things in my hand, but it will come up. I think I have the little thing off crooked, but I didn't get it put back together right. Okay, so you'll pull this up. I have it all crooked in there, that's why it's not working. But here we go. You'll pull this up. I'll just push that out. There we go. There we go. The little thing was on crooked. So, and then when you want to wash it, because some of the batter will get up inside, you will open this up. This goes on and twists on just like that. So it'll lock on. Then you will unlock it and open it up. And then you will open it up like this, and then you will have it so all the inside is open up, and stick it in the dishwasher just like this, and it'll wash it all clean, and then you'll put it back together. So we had fun with this on last week as my son made the waffles. And very easy, handy little tool because it's all one thing. You're mixing the batter and then you're dispensing it with all one tool. And very last, I'm going to show you, this is brand new. We cannot even keep it in stock. Very little, simple tool, but it has a 6 weeks wait. You can order it now, but then you have to wait for it to come in separate from your other order. It is our cup slicer. It is the hottest thing around. Why? Because this is summer and you're going to be doing fruits and fruit salads and fruit desserts and all kinds of things with soft fruits. It's got multiple blades in it. So you will line up your strawberries, your bananas, whatever, and then you will just go around your cutting board. This is the cap on the bottom. It has indentions. So you pop it on the bottom and then it will push up and you pour them out. That's it. You can do tons of strawberries really fast, bananas, avocados, small mozzarella balls. You can do tomatoes if they're firm enough. Just anything you want to do with these. And gosh, fruit salad is a cinch. Or if you want to make a strawberry shortcake, you want to make angel food cake with a little whipped cream and strawberries. If you want to make a dessert with the strawberries sliced, if you want to make a fruit salad with bananas and strawberries and cantaloupe and everything else, just slice, 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 slice. So easy. It's a cup slicer. So this is hot. It's fun. You have to have it. So just wanted to show that to you. So that, I think, rounds out my top gadgets. At least the ones I could think of off the top of my head right now. I have almost the whole catalog, so of course I have a lot of loves. But this gives you a good start. Let me know if you have any questions. Comment below if you own any of these and why you love it and why you can't live without it. Hope you guys have a fantastic day.